What's up, everybody? It's Jordan and Alex here with Trailblazer Fire Tactics. We've had some requests lately. People want to know what we're carrying in our turnout. So today, we'll go over what's in here. Oh, there.
Something that Craven and I have gone back and forth with over the years is what we're carrying, why we're carrying it. What I'm carrying now is completely different from where I started when I first started in the fire service. Some of it comes from tips and pointers from other people. Some of it comes from just what's worked for me in the field. So everything that I carry, and I'll get into why I'm carrying it where, but it has a why for where it is in a certain place. So at the end of the day, if you are carrying something, I at least want you to tell me why you have it there, right? Like, oh, I only have this stuff just because X, Y, and Z told me. Versus, hey, I'm carrying this here because it has this purpose, and I heard it from X, Y, and Z, and they told me that it would be very well, right? So knowing the why you carry something, and then try to vet the idea. So I'm going to give you some tips and pointers on why I have stuff again, but if you decide to try it out, try it. If it doesn't work for you, maybe alter it for a way that does work. We'll start with the radio strap. So the first thing we put on is a radio strap. I think back in the day, a lot of guys would wear it over their coat, whereas a lot more now are wearing it under their coat. So I wear my radio strap kind of opposite sided than some. Mine stays on my left side. It's just, I don't know, player's choice, preference.
Yeah, I think personal preference comes down to it.
Yeah.
I've always worn mine on my right, but I did try it the left, and actually I've been, it don't really stay on my left anymore. It stays in the middle, which I'm sure you're about to talk about.
I wear my radio strap in the middle, typically all the time. Yes, from time to time, I will wear it on my side if we're going to the grocery store or med local or something. However, I do try to keep it in the middle a lot. So this comes from getting dressed, going down the road, or whatever the case is. When we wear it off to the side and I'm going to the call, whether you get dressed on the way or whether you get dressed before you get in the rig, when you're sitting in the fire truck in your seat and you're putting your air pack on, this is either, if you're riding the officer side, rear facing, it's tucked in the corner against the wall, or you're on the other side, it's kind of over here to the side. Whatever the case is, it's off to the side. So as we're going down the road, you need to change channels, go to the channel you're going to, whatever the case is. I like to go ahead and have my radio set to, yes, I might not be talking on it in the back step, but I need it set on that channel. So when I'm going down the road, I always keep my radio strap in the center, so I can change channels, look down, change them throughout the drive to the call. And then again, personally for me on scene, it's easier when you're on your knees searching through the house, whatever the case is, on a hand line, as I can just look straight down and change through the channels. It's a little easier. Guys have it off to the side. It could be behind you. It could be off your hip and you're having to turn. I know the radios have voice commands now, so like when you turn a channel, it'll tell you what channel it's on. But again, just for me personally, having it in like my crotch, it's easier to change channels as you're driving down the road, flip through, and then once on scene, I'm able to just look straight down and plop through them. For me, it doesn't affect a lot like needing to VES or something. We have other things hanging off of our chest. When I'm jumping in a window, it kind of floats naturally with my gear going in. So if you have a question on that, I really haven't had issues as far as my radio hanging up. The only time where I think it has is doing ladder bailouts. It may catch on a few, but I'm not gonna, all the pros to carrying it here don't outweigh that one odd in an emergency situation.
Yeah, and I find I've started riding in the middle too. And whenever we're pulling up at a call, I'm trying to go ahead and get on the ops channel that we're on. So when I get out the truck and off the mobile radio to the portal, I'm not missing any traffic. It's definitely a lot easier working with between my legs and trying to dig, between whether it's on this side, between myself and the dog box, between myself and the door. It's definitely a lot easier working like that. So I'm totally trying.
So that's just kind of a radio strap setup. I also leave it long enough to where it hangs out of my coat. If it's short and choppy and up here, One, in a fire, whatever happens, an emergency happens and I'm switching to a channel, I can't access, I have to lift my coat. It could get burned, it's stalling, it's taking time. If I have it exposed, the wire is still covered by turnout gear because it's under my coat, but I'm able to access the radio here. So keeping it long enough to where it'll access from underneath your coat. Talk about helmets a little bit. I personally don't like carrying things on my helmet. We have a lot of stress that's already on our shoulders and our neck as it is, so I would like to keep my helmet as light as possible. Most of the time we're going to see guys carrying chocks and things on there. I'll get into a minute where I carry my chocks anyways, so I don't carry on my helmet. For lights and cameras, you'll see those two things that guys like to wear on their lid. So like Craven's helmet here has a fire cam. He has it mounted on the side, so they don't weigh much. It's a good spot for a camera. I wear a GoPro, and I'll get into that on my gear, but that's something you can put on your helmet. You also see guys who put lights on their lid. I had someone tell me a while ago, know why you're carrying a light in a certain place. So like the stream light guys put on their lids don't do very well inside of a house because they're so bright and so powerful. And then also everywhere I look, the light shines. So I'm coming and talking to him in a fire and I'm blinding them, or it's at a wreck and I'm looking at him and I'm blinding them. So lights on a helmet are good for when you're doing a 360 and you may need a powerful light to beam up at the house. And then we'll carry box lights for searching. So
your box light specifically is halogen, not LED, right?
So yeah, getting into a box light, this one happens to be an LED, okay. But it is an older version of LED, so the brightness isn't quite as like that. The brightness isn't as bright as some of the new ones. Again, getting into the box light, so the older halogen bulbs, that tan, lower power beam does a lot better in smoky environments. So when I get into talking about having a light for a fire alarm versus a light searching in a smoky environment, it's like high beam and low beam on a car. If you're in fog and you cut your high beams on, you can't see anything. It's almost better to ride with your parking lights on in the fog. So having a less powerful light to search with, and then having a more powerful light for fire alarms or different things where I'm doing investigation. Again, I was just going to say why I carry what where. So diving into my coat now. So we'll start up top here. My GoPro setup so that you can see. I keep it on this clip here. I don't even know what you would call it. It moves around here and then has this type of clip to it. It works very well to clip in random spots on your gear. This gear comes with these mic holders. So for me, it's a good spot to keep that clipped in here to that mic holder. This is actually not even a GoPro, it's called an Acaso. They're 60 bucks on Amazon, and they do very good in fire. So if I burn it up, I'll buy a new one. So that's my tip for that. From there to my radio pocket. So I keep in my radio pocket, this is like the big ticket item here. I keep my Anderson rescue strap in that coat pocket, easily accessible, it's kind of right there. And I'll get to why I carry it here, not in my pants, but I keep an Anderson rescue strap. I keep one carabiner in the center, and that's the one that comes with this strap when you buy them from Anderson Rescue Solutions. It comes there, so I keep this one in the center, and then I also keep a non-locking carabiner on one of the ends. If I need something quick and just to clip onto, it has these loops, I can throw that non-locking carabiner in for other videos that we can do later, but this is the setup that I have for my ARS strap in my coat pocket, my radio pocket. Also in that same pocket, I keep a pair of cutters. I'll get into my pants in a minute, but I keep a pair of cutters in my coat and in my pants, but for this, I keep it in my coat. This specifically is a pair of Nipex cutters. They do a lot better with finer wire. A lot of guys buy the battery cable cutters, but when we talk about needing to be able to cut wire in houses, a big one we run into is the wire in HVAC systems that'll fall down, and they're very small metal wires. So these Nipex cutters do a lot better job of cutting the smaller wire. Also, another small thing with my coat, so in that radio pocket we have this Velcro here. When I put my cutters in, I drape this webbing off to this side so it doesn't get caught. A lot of guys will run their strap through the middle here, and then through time it'll get stuck over on the side in the Velcro. So to avoid that from happening, I run it off to the other side, and then it never runs into the Velcro over here. So that's how I have that radio pocket set up. Off to the other side here, I keep my Facepiece clipped in. So whether you're jumping rigs or when you get off work, I clip my mask to my coat. Up north, we jump rigs from the engine to the rescue engine to the truck. So I always keep my Facepiece clipped to my coat. That way you don't forget. For that, I use the tail that comes from your radio strap. You can buy just these, and for me it works the best because it has these easy clips here. Super easy clip to open and close, not very hard to use, and easy to get off in a pinch. So it stays connected to my coat, and I leave it there for the tour. So like I take my Facepiece off, hook it to my air pack, and this stays on my coat. I have not ran into an issue with it being an entanglement hazard or anything yet. Some will say that could get caught on something. There's a lot of stuff that'll get caught on something on our gear. If you have a concern with it, or if you don't like it, you can merely just take it off, put it in your bag, and then at shift change, hook it back on. But it's a great option when you're having to jump rigs. I don't keep a angle light in my gear anymore. I used to keep an angle light here. With these straps, I now just use my box light. But if you do have that angle light, it's best to keep the light hanging down, inverted, and that way you can move the light around. If you have it flipped the other way, the way the coat wants you to do it, it's clipped into this top clip, and then it's strapped in here. So if you look close at this, the light hangs down below instead of upright, and that gives you the ability to move it around and search inside. So I'm going to search around, I can move it. It also hangs lower. So as I'm searching down low, the light's lowered to the ground under the smoke layer.
If I need to move it around more, your spec is really important when you're looking at flashlights and stuff like that. Some of these straps are going to be super long. Like it really depends on what type of flashlights you're running. There are bigger style flashlights, but I know that particularly the stream lights in this configuration are really good. It gives me the ability to take it off and move it around. And if I really need to get the light out more, this is I think it's Fire by Trade. This light will come on and just give you that extended reach. Now, am I doing that in the fire? Probably not, but if I need the light to be able to do something else, it does give you that ability without locking it.
It gives you more options at the end of the day than having it upright. So again, if you have lights, know why you're carrying them, where are you carrying them, and is it the best use for its specific intended purpose. If you just have a box light, if I could have one, I want to have this, because again, my mission at the end of the day is being able to search. That is most mission critical. So like, at least if I have a box light, I've got it. The other thing about guys will be like, well, I have a helmet light. For you to search with light, because it's not always blackout visibility. Sometimes I can see in a house fire, and at the end of the day, even if it's chocker block conditions, I can pop this light and hold something to my face and see what it is. With a helmet light, for me to look up under a bed, I have to physically take my head and put it all the way to the ground to where the light can see under there, versus when I'm wearing my box light, this is already at a low angle. I can scan without having to take the light all the way to the ground because I have it, the light's already low on my radio, on my box light. So again, just another option. Coming down from there into my bottom pockets on my coat, on my right bottom coat pocket, I keep my door chocks. That coat pocket specifically, I leave the pocket tucked in so I can easily access my door chocks with a gloved hand. So I'm coming off the rig with a glove on, I can reach in, pull a door chalk out, pull another door chalk out, okay? So on and so forth. I can go in and I can continue to pull the door chalks out as I need them.
Now, you have those in your right pocket though because you carry your hose over your left shoulder, right?
Yep. So for me, again, why are you carrying something where? This is a super, super fine detail. I can carry hose on my left or right shoulder. I can adapt to however it comes. However, preferably I carry it on my left shoulder a lot. So when I'm running and I'm carrying my bundle on my left shoulder, I can reach in my right pocket, pull this out and chalk a door, go to the next. Reach in my pocket again, chalk a door, go to the next. There may be a time, there has been times where I've carried hose on my right shoulder. My open pocket, I can just reach right in, cross body, pull it out, chalk it. So, given some options there. Now, with those chalks, I carry 5 total. So, typically I carry 5 wood and then this 1 aluminum. I carry 5 door chalks for when you're going to a hotel, multifamily, or whatever the case is. In theory, to get to the fire apartment, I go through the main door of the hotel, that secondary lobby door of the hotel, then we're gonna have the first door into a stairwell, then the fire floor door in the stairwell, and then lastly, the fire apartment door. And I will save that aluminum one for the end. You can force the door with and then chalk it if you need it. So that's why I carry 5. And then they're also wood, so if you lose one, cut another one. So underneath that, on the same side, so since I'm chalking on the right side, I carry these clamps. You see a lot of guys carrying them. Again, don't just carry this because you saw a guy in PG County, Maryland wearing it. Wear this for an intended reason. So these are very good. When you open a door, you can clamp onto the hinge side and keep the door open, but they work really well when I don't want a door to lock back to. So like I force a door, say this is the hinge side, this was the lock side, I can clip this on too, and now the door won't relock on itself. So you can control the flow path without having to shut the door back locked. There's a really good reason to have these. So there's the spring clamp. Going over to the middle here, same thing kind of in my crotch. When I'm going down the road, I've gotten dressed, I'm in the rig, and I'm putting my stuff on now. Instead of personally reaching into pockets on my pants or a strap up here, they're just kind of sitting in my crotch area. On this coat, they're clipped into my bottom clip. Some coats make them on this outside with a ring here. So for me, they're just sitting here in my crotch. I can take them off. As I'm going down the road, I'm sitting in my seat and I can put my gloves on. Very user friendly. And whatever type of strap. This one I had custom made by a guy, John Johnson. He does leather work. And I've had these straps for years and they work great for me. It's just a Velcro strap. But whatever works best for you. Over off to the left coat pocket. This is kind of my Swiss Army knife pocket. So I have all these tools and stuff that I may use. Carry this stuff specific to you and don't be bogged down with a bunch of things, but what has intended purpose. So in here specifically, I've got a 6-in-1 screwdriver. If you're going to carry a screwdriver, this is the best one to carry. for different things. It has a small side and a big side. And then it also has hex heads on both ends. So when you're going to a smoking residence or different things, the hex head is good for taking apart the HVAC. So I can take an HVAC apart and just multiple uses on the fire grounds. You need to take a panel apart, you now have your screwdriver on there. Next thing I carry is, this is actually a modified kind of, what's the tool, swipe tool?
The swipe tool.
This is actually a shout out to Mobile One Oil. I have found that the durability in this Mobile One oil container is very good. It flexes around a doorway, but it has enough, it's rigid enough to where I can still force down the lock when I'm trying to, kind of like you use your debit card or your driver's license to swipe through a door. This works very well. I've actually defeated a few magnetic locks with this as well. It's been strong enough, I got it in behind the lock, and I defeated the magnetic locking mechanism with it. So again, it's an option. There may be several out there that work great too. Next here I have a swipe tool. So this is good for the outward swinging door that I can access the lock. I can reach in, push the lock down, and pull it. Some doors will have a cover for the outward swinging door, so that's where this wedge style pick comes in handy. I can sit it behind, and as I force down, that wedge will force the lock. We've actually posted a video about 5 or 6 videos ago on our page that show the use of this exact tool. I keep some fire alarm keys, so as the captain or whoever's going and they're checking fire alarms out, full station reset, whatever the case may be, I have some fire alarm keys. We can put the fire alarm on silence, however your department does it. Just a few spare fire alarm keys that weigh nothing. Here I have a through the lock tool. They are a pair of channel locks. This specific pair of channel locks, some are flat here. These kind of have this V pattern on the top and bottom. These specifically are good for the cylinders on a storefront. So you will grip the cylinder on the storefront, and they have shear pins in them. So you grip onto it, break the pins, and then that cylinder unlocks. And then on this end are screwdrivers, so you can reach in and turn the locking mechanism. This was custom made at the firehouse. I heated it up, bent it, and filed them down. So you can find these on the internet as well.
Yeah, and there's instructional videos too online as far as making them. I mean, they're pretty simple to make.
Yeah.
You go low, pick you up a pair of, I think those are there's a couple different, like you said, a couple different styles. You can go online, find it, it tells you how long to measure it, bend it, and all that. It's a fairly expensive setup.
Yeah. I also keep a saw wrench on me, so if we happen to go to the roof and the chain slips off the chain, instead of completely being out of service or having to attack something by hand, again, risk to reward for me, it's more beneficial, I feel, to carry an extra few ounces and be able to tighten up a chainsaw or something. If you're on a truck company, this may be very beneficial. If you're on an engine, maybe not as beneficial. But again, it's just something that I carry personally. I also carry a knife. This specifically is a box blade. If you need to cut through material you got hung up on, you're in a hoarder house with a bunch of clothes, you might need to shear something. A good friend of mine, Mikey, we've had on the podcast before, he carries multiple knives. He will keep one in his coat, one in his pants, and then I believe one on his radio strap, if I'm correct. And he does that because sometimes he's only wearing his pants, sometimes he's wearing his coat and his pants, and then whatever the third one's for.
I guess it's med local.
Yeah, maybe on a med local, I think if he's not wearing his pants, he does have another knife. So again, different setup for a different person, but try to have some sort of cutting tool in your gear if you can. Going over to my pants off of the coat. So the setup again where I'm at now, we talked earlier about wearing the Knipex cutters in my left coat pocket. I carry another pair of cutters in my right pants pocket. So this is a theory thing, but again, I have one high and low and on opposite sides of the body. So let's say something crazy happened and my hands are stuck here on the right side. I can maybe access high or low. Hands, I can access high or low. That's a theory thing for now, but I have it. So in my right pants pocket, I keep a pair of cutters. Like I leave them where the handle's hanging out, so for quick grab access. So I can pull them right out of my pants, and then I have a pair of cutters. These are those more heavy-duty battery style cutters. If you encounter heavier gauge wire you need to cut. Don't carry these in your gear just because you cut batteries at car wrecks. They're for life first, and then we have other intended purposes we can use. So larger diameter wire, smaller diameter wire with the other ones. From there, all of the other things that I carry in my pants, right side is going to be a 6-foot loop of webbing, and left side is going to be another 6-foot loop of webbing. Okay, I carry one on either side, and this is for Jeff Hannum in Durham was telling me one time they were at a call and he asked for webbing and guys were fumbling with it. Okay, so you're trying to, which pocket had the 6-foot piece, which one had the 3-foot piece. So for me, when we are in a high stress environment, I know if I need my webbing, I can go in either pocket and I'm getting the same result. Again, may make sense to some. For me, training with it, using it at calls, it has worked well, being able to either pocket, pull out, and I'm getting the same thing. So that's all I keep in my pants. I keep my pants fairly lightweight. The one last thing, hitting on my box light. So when I have my coat on and I wear my box light, some guys ask why I keep it a little shorter. So as I'm wearing it here, my box light stays right there around my hip. Some guys have them longer to where they hang longer. For me, I like it to sit at this hip height. I also keep it on my right side specifically. So when I search in a house, as I've seen in this video the whole time, I've been right knee down. So as I search in a house, this is how I go through. Right knee down, moving through the house. That light is staying on my low side, shining under the smoke. As I search under a bed, boom. Yes, there may be times where I do get on my other knee to search, but I'm gonna pop right back up in this position on the right side. So that's why I carry my light there. I don't like it so low, it's bothering me and in my way and beating up against my leg. But I don't like it so choppy I can't maneuver it some too. So I try to find this happy little medium spot right at my hip where I can still move it around, shine super low if I need to, and shine up, pull something to my face. So that's kind of where my box light is.
Yeah, a lot of people, from my experience, a lot of times box lights stay on the truck in the charger, right? Like they'll stay up there until you get a wreck or something, or you just need some light after the fire. And the only way really to get comfortable with it is to try it out, to get some reps in on putting it on, seeing how it fits, and then just get the system in place just like you do everything else and put it on the way through the fire. So anything else gear-wise?
That's really, again, personally for me and my gear right now. One other thing with the helmet, if your department allows and you're able to get a longer chin strap, it helps with masking up if it's something you can get. This is a training helmet for me that I've earned in, but this helmet that gets actively used on calls has a chin strap, longer, being able to use. If you don't have one, in my short time in Durham, the guys showed me they had a normal helmet, right, that had this style on there to where the helmet strap isn't very long. So a way that they were able to maximize it out is they put, what are the monkey fists?
Yeah, monkey fist, yeah.
The monkey fist that you can make out of 550 cord, and they tied it onto the very end right here. So they were able to maximize this as long as possible, but when they went to cinch it down, they still have something to grab onto. So right now, if I don't have anything, I have to eat up a little bit of this so I can grab it still. They were actually tying that monkey fist on so they could maximize the length and still have something to grab onto.
And the helmet here, this is a newer chin strap, and I haven't done it to it yet, but generally I'll take and put some hockey tape or some type of tape here just to make it a little bit more easy to grab or easy to feel with my gloves on. Like I said, this is a fairly new chin strap. I have to take the time to do it yet. Like I said, anything to get that dexterity is real good.
Yep. This is kind of how I'm wearing my gear now. Have talks regularly with people about why they're carrying what and where they're carrying it. Know why you're carrying something, have an intended purpose, and sometimes things can be under review, right? So like, hey, I might be carrying this here for right now because I'm just really trying to figure out if it's good for me or not. I know he said it may be not the best, but I'd like to figure it out. Sure. Try things out, switch things around, move them from your bottom to your top, move things around, try the door chocks out, see what works best for you. Again, like we talked earlier, maybe some of these things are better for you to carry in a bag and keep them on the truck. For me, it's more beneficial for me to keep them on my person, but find out what works best for you in your area, in your department, with your riding assignment is really the biggest thing.
From your own opinions, based on actually trying it, not just what somebody said, and constantly, like, reevaluate from time to time what you carry. You know, it makes sense to carry this when you've never pulled it out in 2 years. You know, is this something I need to carry? Is there something else I need to carry? But when I was just getting to the fire service, I was carrying everything, the kitchen sink and everything, the pants. And over the years, I have slowly and recently specifically dropped a lot of stuff out of the pants pockets just to reduce the weight on me. Realizing that a lot of stuff I was carrying was for the super what if situations. So,
Yeah. Other than that, that's pretty much it for today's tip. For what are we carrying in our gear.
All right. Thank y'all for tuning in.